So electricity scares me. Now I'm not talking about, I'm talking about the fact that power lines are deadly, substations are deadly. There's a lot of risk involved for people who are line workers and whatever. And I had this dream that I was hanging from a power line, and I remember I could feel I was holding onto this power line. I don't even know how it got there. The dream started out that way. I'm looking straight up, and I'm holding onto this power line, and I could feel the electric charge going through it. And I kind of looked to my left, and those they're those big, huge towers that usually come from the power plants or substations. They just look wicked because they carry the most voltage with them. And I looked over and I saw one of those. It was right next to me, and one of those spiral-looking things where the wire hangs from off the tower was right next to me, and it was humming really loud, and it was really scary. All I wanted to do was to just let go of the wire, but I looked down, and it was so far down, and there were people around, and they were watching as I was hanging from this wire, and I started getting really scared, and I don't know how to explain it. It was just, everything was scary at that particular moment. The tower was scary. I had a lot of fear right at that moment. And I ended up sort of just going along this power line, and as I started moving away from the tower because I didn't want to be next to the tower because it was wicked looking, my weight or something started to pull the power line down. The power line started to sag a little bit, and I looked down and I saw another power line almost to my feet. And I knew that if I touched it, I would probably, get killed or whatever. So it was right about that time when something started to crackle, and it's hard to explain. It's almost as if the power line was breaking, and I remember I looked up and I said, "Please God, don't let me die or whatever." And I was looking up, and suddenly the light itself broke, and there was this big old spark right in front of me. And I ended up falling all the way to the ground, but there was somebody with one of those trampolines or whatever you call it, a rescue net or whatever you want to call it, and they ended up getting me. I landed in it, but the power line came down on top of all these people, and they were being electrocuted by this wire, and I was the only safe one because for some reason the material that I landed in was insulating me from the electricity. And it was right then that I woke up, and I remember I had a panicky feeling as soon as I woke up. I just kind of, I was just glad that I wasn't where that dream was. And since we had that winter storm here a few days ago, a lot of power lines have been going down, and I've seen them, cutting down trees and so on to clear the lines. And I've always wondered, how dangerous that really is, and That's probably what I was thinking about with the dream. But I'm not quite sure exactly why I would just suddenly end up hanging from a power line. It was just a weird dream.